So just getting comfortable. You might already be there already. If so, fabulous. And if not, do your wriggling, your adjusting, and being in whatever position serves your body, serves your back. So if the legs out long feels like it's putting a little bit too much pressure into the lumbar spine, too much arch there, go for constructive rest pose instead with the legs bent. With the eyes closed, relaxing the face, the jaw. Just long, slow, steady breaths in and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth if you prefer. And within you, 80 trillion cells, if not more. That's what they estimate, about 80 trillion. And these cells are often stagnating, not really moving. And when we practice things like yoga, or when we experience sound baths, anything that creates a movement and a vibration, and it starts to bring the cells into moving, regenerating. And cells are semi-permeable, so they take in what they need and they can let out what they don't need. So can you imagine yourself right now? This is a big ask of the imagination, I know. Can you imagine yourself right now as a cell? Semi-permeable, you're taking in just what you need, letting out what you don't need. And by that I mean, can you imagine that your skin is breathing? So it might seem a little strange. I certainly found this practice a little strange when I first did it, and the more I did it, the more I was able to just really notice the skin, really notice how I was breathing, imagining and visualization got a little better. And if you're finding it difficult to imagine that you're breathing through your skin, then just notice how the air around you feels on your skin. Whether it's warm or it's cool, or you can feel a breeze. Just notice how the floor or the mat feels against your skin. How your clothes feel against the skin. Notice if you can feel your breath coming in and out of the nose like a fine breeze across the top lip. Observe how you feel as you lay here. Just noticing all those sensations and then how you feel on the inside, physically, energetically, and emotionally. Remember within your practice today to try and do all the movements as fluid as you can, as smooth as you can. Trying not to have any of the movements hurried or jerky. And to keep the movements with your breath. And if you need to pause from anything, know that it's always okay. If you need to change the movement in some ways because it's niggling some part of the body in a not so good way, then change it so that it feels better. Staying with the breath. You're going to start to bring little movements to the body. Wiggle your toes, your fingers, your ankles and wrists. Maybe a gentle roll of the head from side to side, and maybe rolling the legs and the arms in and out. And then keeping the arms and the legs still. So if we was a cell, we're now going to start to evolve. And just by that, we're just going to bring some movement to the arms, and we're going to time it with the breath. So you're just inhaling one arm up and back behind you, and then bringing it down as you exhale. And then just keep alternating from sides. A very fluid, flowing movement. You don't have to have the arm super straight. I'd encourage everything to be really soft, your wrist, your elbow. So when a cell starts to evolve, if we was going through the whole evolutionary timeline, I'm not going to go through the whole lot, don't worry. If it was starting to evolve, it would become into one of these, I think it's called a flagellum, where we start to just grow like a little, I don't want to say tentacle, but we start to expand in the search of more nutrients. So as you're starting to move the arms, alternating them back and forth, you could start to get a little bit more stretchy each time that you take the arm back. Like you're trying to reach for something a little bit more. And you might find that you're starting to lengthen down one side of the body each time that you take the arm back. That's okay. You can explore that stretch down the whole side of the body if it feels good. It's kind of like you're doing a little backwards swim. And maybe reaching out through the same or opposite leg. So explore some different ways of stretching down the sides of the body as you're taking the arm back and down. So I'm finding that I've just sort of fallen into a pattern of stretching the same arm and same leg. That's good. If you're doing opposites, also good. And the next time that an arm is down beside you, both arms are down beside you, pause there. We're going to now do it more symmetrically. So we're going to take both arms back behind, inhale, and stretch everything super long, big full body stretch. Exhaling, maybe squeeze the buttocks like you're trying to lift them a little from your mat. And then drop them down, relax, and bring the arms down alongside the body. So we've woken up your shoulders. Now bring the legs a little closer together, comfortably close. You don't want to feel this pinching into your low back. So if that immediately gives a sensation to just at the top of the buttocks, the sacrum, take the legs a little wider. And we're going to move both feet, both legs, in the same direction. So imagine that your legs were forming a tail. And you know, like when we do our rolling the legs in and out, it's a similar kind of movement, but you're rolling both legs same direction, to the right and then to the left. Good, and if you're thinking, yep, she's lost the plot today, she's turned us into fish. We were a cell, we were a flagellum, now we're a fish. That's it, yes. Moving legs one side, rolling them then to the other. Notice how it feels in the back. Does that cause a little discomfort, or does it feel all right? If it's starting to cause discomfort, pause from that. You've done enough. We don't want to cause aggravation there. And if it feels uncomfortable, you could try the movement with the legs a little wider. So I was feeling discomfort to the low back, and now I've taken the feet wider. Still doing the same movement, it feels okay. Again, if that's still causing discomfort to your low back, cease from doing it. And then we're going to add in the arms again, those alternating arms. So if you're good to still wag your legs, wag your tail, great. And then you'd inhale one arm back and then down. You inhale the other arm back and then down. All the while you're rocking those legs from side to side. Doesn't that start to get disorganized and a bit messy? Still breathing with it. You might be finding this really easy, or it might be kind of like, that's way too much coordination on a Monday lunchtime. In the evolution, this is kind of what happened. So then we needed something to organize all of this movement. Thus, we developed the central nervous system to organize all of our movements so that we could move better. And if you're doing those crazy swimming movements, then relax from that. Maybe take your legs a little further apart. Give the pelvis a little rock from side to side. And then bend the knees, bring the feet down onto the mat. And just give a little bit of a tuck of the pelvis out from underneath you. So lengthen your spine. And then very carefully, one knee at a time, draw the knees into the chest. Take hold of them, rock a little from side to side. So there are days where I do the kind of mermaid tail legs, rocking them, and it feels pretty good into the low back. And there are other days that feels quite tender, a bit naggy. So if you've been feeling that, doesn't mean you were doing anything wrong. It's just a signal that there's today something in the low back that's not too happy and that you need to take a little bit of extra care with in your movements. Start to circle the legs around in a circle. So you really massage out any sensation if it wasn't so good for you. Should really help. And circle the other way. And then open the knees out to the side, frog pose, hold the shins or the ankles, circle the feet. So in evolution, once we developed this central nervous system to try and organize our movement and coordination, we needed something to protect the central nervous system. In came the spine. See, you're learning something different today in your yoga practice. We're not just moving and breathing. Okay, make sure you've circled the feet both directions. And then bring the knees back together. Hold on to the right knee, inhale, And lengthen the left leg long down to the mat. Exhale. And just give a little bit of energy to that left leg. Make sure it's not splaying out to the side. Draw it in a little towards the midline of the mat. Always remember, if there's pinching in your right hip, open the right knee a little to the right, so you find ease with that if you've got pinching. And if you want to start to bring circles into the right hip, you can, or if you want to just be still here and just enjoy the position, the shape that you're in, both good. You might just want to rock the right knee a little from side to side. Or as you exhale, you might want to lift the upper body up so that you're rounding the back, maybe bringing the forehead towards the knee. They don't have to touch. So there's some options for movement if you want to move whilst here. But if not, staying still and breathing in this position does great things for release of the pelvis, hamstrings, low back. But if you're feeling more movement is needed, then explore, play about. Either curl up and down, or move the leg around a little. And if you're lifting the upper body, the head up and down, then bring the head back down. Keep hold of the right knee and bend the left leg. Bring the left foot down onto the mat. So think half bridge or half constructive rest pose with your left leg. Hold behind the right thigh, flex the foot. Inhale. Stretch the right leg up. Exhale. Inhale, bend. And do it again. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Exhale, stretch. Just focus on the sensation, not how much your leg does or doesn't bend. Keep going. Or how much it doesn't go straight, I should say. Make sure that you're not trying to straighten the legs so much that it's lifting the buttocks up away from the mat. Wherever you are with that, do it one more time. And then bending the knee into the chest. And then inhale, draw the left knee in, take hold of it. And exhale, the right leg long down to the mat, checking the right foot's in line with the right hip. And that left knee drawing into the chest or very slightly out to the side. A couple of breaths here in stillness. And then explore some movement. So it might be that you want to do little circles in that left hip. It might be that you just want to rock the leg a little from side to side. Again, remember fluid movement. Or you might want to, on your exhales, lift the upper body up as though taking the forehead towards the knee. So all movement, good movement. Or it might be that it's just like, no, actually I'm enjoying just being still, holding that and breathing. No force with anything. And if you've been lifting the upper body up, then next time that you're down, stay down. Keep the left knee drawn in and inhale, bend the right leg, bring the right foot down onto the mat. Hold behind the left thigh, flex the left foot. Inhale. Stretching the left leg up. Exhale. Inhale, bend. Exhale as you stretch up. Keep going. And again, just make sure that when you're stretching the leg, that you're not pulling the buttocks up off of your mat. It never matters if the leg doesn't go straight. We're just looking to create length, back of the leg, the hamstrings, those muscles there, those 3 muscles back of the thighs. Okay, a few more times. And then bending the knee and bringing the left foot back down onto the mat. And have the feet wider than your hips, the knees wider than your hips for windscreen wiper legs. So we bring gentle rotation into the hips, but also a little bit of a twist to the lower body. So bring your arms out into a T shape. Breathe in. As you exhale, lower the knees towards the right. Maybe turn the head towards the left if the neck is comfortable to move. Inhale to center. And exhale, knees to the left, maybe the head to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees right, head left. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees left, head right. Inhale, come back to the center. Pause there, exhale. Bring your arms down alongside the body if you've had them out to a T shape. And we're going to move into our core breathing. So if you have a brick or a cushion, put it in between your knees. And if not, just keep the knees hip width apart. Make sure the back of the waist is down into the mat. So a gentle press of the lumbar curve, not excessive that you're then tilting the pelvis a lot, but also not arching your back. So you breathe in, allowing your belly to rise naturally, your ribs and your chest. And as you exhale, squeezing in the abdominals, contracting, bracing them in, and lifting up the pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, release, relax, inflate. Exhale, contract, squeeze like you're cinching in the waist, inwards and upwards, pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, relax, inflate. Exhale, contract, squeeze like you're deflating. Inhale, inflates. Naturally the belly rises, ribs and chest expanding. Exhale, using the abdominal muscles, drawing them in, so you're drawing them in towards the spine and upwards along it. Again, inhaling, inflate. Exhale, contract, squeeze. Inhaling, inflating. Exhale, contract, squeeze the abdominals in, pelvic floor muscles. Squeeze, 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 and hold. So hold the squeeze, hold the breath. Squeeze a bit more. And then relax. If you have a prop in between your knees, take it away. And then draw the knees into the chest, hug them in, rock a little from side to side. And then roll over onto your right side. Good, so we're going to have the knees out in front. And you can prop your head up onto your hand for now, or onto your arm, whichever is comfortable for your neck. And we're going to do hip circles. So if you do the Saturday class, then you're familiar with doing hip circles here. So just imagine that you're going to draw a circle with your top knee. Okay. So the top hand can press down just to give you a little bit of stability so you're not kind of rolling back and forth. And you're going to inhale as you bring the top knee in towards your chest and then open it up. And you exhale as you take the leg a little back and then down. You inhale the knee in towards the chest, open. Exhale a little back and down. So just imagine you're drawing a big circle with your knee. So we're not overcomplicating it, overthinking it. You're just circling the leg in the hip joint. And it feels quite nice to do this on the side rather than when we're on the back. Just the difference of it is that sometimes you can get more movement than when we're on the back. Good, that's it. Just oiling the hip. And then from here, same knee, inhale, draw the knee in towards the shoulder. It doesn't have to touch, thankfully. And as you exhale, stretch the leg up. Yeah, that's it. And we keep going with that. You inhale, bend the knee and lower the leg back down. Exhale. Inhale, knee towards the shoulder. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Lower the leg down. Exhale. Inhale, knee to shoulder. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Lower down. Exhale. One more. Inhale, knee to shoulder. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Lower down. Exhale. Saturday folk will now be going, please don't let it be followed by oyster. Don't do that on a Monday's class as well. It's not, it's okay. But we are going to get a twist. So if you've got your head propped up on your hand, take it away and let the head rest down. Reach that arm that you were just propping up your head, reach it out in front of you. So I'm laying on my right side, so it's my right arm, the underneath arm, I'm reaching straight out from the shoulder. Give a little look that you've got that. Yes. And then wriggle the right shoulder or that same shoulder out from underneath you a little bit more. It will mean that your chest will start to turn towards the ceiling or the sky a little bit. That's okay. If you feel uncomfortable in your top leg, start to feel this into your outer hip, it starts to get grippy, then put a cushion or a yoga brick between your knees. You can just give a bit more support to that top hip. Yeah. And then with your top hand, I'm going to say my left, but you might be laying on a different side. Bring the top hand onto the underneath arm. It might not reach hand to hand. Don't force that to happen because you've already reached that underneath arm out from you. Yeah, doing good. And all we're going to do is we'll work into a twist, but instead of flinging the arm and the body open, we're going to draw the fingers along the arm, along the chest, and then open, so it's softer. So you breathe in first, prepare. And as you exhale, you draw your fingers along the underneath arm, across the chest, and you open up into your twist. You inhale as you close the position back up, back to where you started, and then you do it again. You exhale, draw the fingers along the arm, across the chest, and open. Keep going with that. Keep it really soft so that it's good for your spine and for your shoulder, that you're not kind of using your arm as a lever to crank you open into the twist. You're just rolling open into the twist. If you feel any twinges in the low back, that it's feeling a bit grumpy with this, it's not happy, then maybe take your knees a little further down towards the feet end of your mat. Or if that doesn't work, take the feet a little closer towards the underneath arm and see if that works. So as we're all wonderfully different, we will all want different variations to find ease within these movements that we're doing. It's all just an exploration. I keep saying it, but it's so true. In yoga, we used to be very strict on alignment, very rigid in our alignment principles, that everyone should be doing exactly the same thing. And thankfully, we've learned a lot different from the biomechanics of the body, more organic movement, that we're incredibly different, each and every one of us, and we'll need different things in our yoga positions. So you could keep moving if it's feeling good, or the next time that you're open, you could pause there Maybe give a little wriggle out of that right shoulder if you're laying on your right side. And I also like to dig my elbows into the floor or the mat a little bit to try and traction my upper body away from my lower body. So using a little bit of arm strength to just wriggle the shoulders and the head up away from the pelvis. Yeah. And that sometimes feels really good. And just notice right now, if you're pausing in this position, are you tensing muscles to hold you here? Can you relax them a bit more to be here? So we always want to keep checking in with our little habits. Where are you tensing and clenching? Where can you let go a little bit more? And then from here, we're going to come back to the position that we started off. So we're going to inhale to close the position, back up, roll slowly back onto your side. And exhale there. You might want to bring both hands underneath the face like you're laying in bed. Maybe draw your knees in a bit closer towards your chest. So you're rounding your back a little bit. Just neutralize from our twisting. And then you could either roll onto your back and then over onto the other side, or if you need to get up to turn around to the other end of your mat, do that very carefully. So whichever is the easiest, most efficient way for you to come onto your other side. So I'm going to spin ends of my mat just because I'm then facing you. You don't have to do the same. So to start off with, you could prop your head up on your hand or your arm or your yoga brick and bring the knees out in front so they're at right angles to your body, to your hips. And we're going to be doing those hip circles to start off with. So top hand can press down into the mat a little bit, stabilize the upper body. And inhale as you draw the top knee in towards your chest and then open. And exhale as you circle the leg a little back and down. Inhale the knee in towards the chest, open. Exhale, back and down. So a bigger circle if you want a bigger circle, smaller circle if that feels better, if you find again there's any crunchy grindiness going on in your low back. Circling around, inhaling in towards you and then exhaling, opening back and down. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling in, open, exhaling back and down. And then bring the knee in towards the shoulder. So you inhale, knee towards the shoulder, foot flexed, and exhale as you stretch the leg up. Oh, click. Inhale, bend, and lower the leg down. Exhale. Inhale, knee to shoulder. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend, lower down, exhale. Inhale, knee to shoulder. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Exhale, down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, knee to shoulder. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Lower down. Exhale. Now we're going to be moving into our twist. So with the hand or the arm that's propping your head up, lengthen that out in front of you. So straight off from your shoulder, forwards. And wriggle that underneath shoulder out from underneath you. So you're then feeling a little bit lopsided already. So wriggle and adjust. Prop up the top leg if you need to. So if you need a cushion in between your knees or a yoga brick, that can just feel a little bit better in that top leg. Yeah. Good, and then bring the top hand onto the underneath hand. So this would be, because I'm laying on my left side, it's the right hand that's resting onto the left arm. You breathe in, and as you exhale, you draw the fingers along the arm, across the chest, and unravel into your twist. You inhale as you close the position back up, and you keep going with that. Exhale, drawing the fingers along the arm, across the chest, and open to twist. Keep going with that. It's a much nicer way of moving rather than just trying to swing your arm open into the twist and using your arm as a lever to try and twist. It can just be just not very nice. Too strong and uncomfortable. This is much, again, more organic, more natural, kinder. If you feel there's any pinching into your low back, adjust the knee height, either lower down towards your feet or further up towards the underneath arm. Find which is a variation, a change of position that feels better. Imagine you're trying to do this movement like you've got no bones. Right? So we're going back to that evolution thing again. That you're really soft as you're moving. You're not forcing any movements. You're just rolling about. And if you're liking the movement, you'd be very welcome to carry on with it. You don't have to pause just because I'm offering that to you. You could carry on moving. Or the next time that you're open, you could stay open. Maybe wriggle that left shoulder blade out from underneath you if you're laying on your left side. You can maybe even turn the head towards the right hand if the neck is happy to do that. Maybe doing that little wriggle of your head and your shoulders up towards the head end of your mat, so you're tractioning your upper body away from your lower body. The smallest change can make the biggest difference. Try not to be gripping, tensing anywhere. Yeah, so good. Some of you still moving. Some of you paused in the open position. Whatever you need, whatever feels good. Good, lovely. And if you're in the open position, we're going to close that back up. So breathe in first. And then exhale as you roll back onto your side. And bring both hands underneath the side of the head, under the face. Carefully draw your knees in a little bit closer in towards your chest so that you're rounding your back a little, neutralizing the spine after twisting. And then from there, careful movements as you now go to roll over onto your belly. And if that means that your head is facing away from the camera and you want to turn around, then please do that very carefully. And once you've made your way onto your belly, then just bring your head onto your hands. Your hands are out in front of you, resting your forehead onto your hands. And just rock the pelvis from side to side. And just notice how that feels as you're rocking the pelvis from side to side. So this might be enough of a movement. If it's feeling a little kind of, again, sensitive into the low back, then just stay with this gentle rocking. So if we go back to our evolution again, we've developed the central nervous system, we've developed the spine, and we've got this sideways movement in the spine because we're just kind of moving through water. We've got this movement. How efficient is this rocking from side to side to try to get us to move forwards? Thinking, oh God, what's she going to ask us to do now? without using your arms. And if you feel you're going to be moving and using your arms, then I would recommend, instead of keeping them forward with your head resting on your hands, that you bring your arms down alongside the body and turn the head to one side. So just in case you think you're going to cheat, or you feel you're going to cheat, you could have the arms down alongside the body with this. Is it possible with this rocking pelvis that you can start to propel yourself forwards, that you could start to rock your way forwards on your mat? Or do you find that you have to do something else to make that happen? Not an efficient way of moving, is it? Breathe, don't forget your breathing. So this is a nice little belly massage anyway, so that's great for digestion. But this side to side movement is not really getting us anywhere, is it? We're not moving forwards. So something else needs to happen in our evolution to make that happen. So we need to develop a curve in the spine. So can you now start to use your feet and your knees a little bit and start to almost do an inchworm movement forwards? And if that's really uncomfortable for the ladies, then permission to use your hands down beside your chest to help out a little bit. Okay, well maybe it's uncomfortable for men too, I don't know. So what I'm doing now is I'm using the tops of my feet and my knees, and I'm starting to lift the bottom a little bit to kind of inchworm and crawl the body a little bit forwards. We don't have to do too many of those, folks, because you're thinking, I'm going to get forwards and forwards and forwards, but how am I going to get back? Same movement to try and wriggle your way back. It's not easy, is it? So once you're back to a good place on your mat, pause with that craziness. That's more than enough. Bring the hands back forwards if you had them down beside you. Just give your pelvis again a little rock to release anything from that. So something had to happen in order for us to get forwards. Bring your hands, palms down by your chest. Bring the elbows into the sides of the body. Just draw the shoulders back away from your ears. And just to keep this really safe into your low back, please press the pubic bone down into the mat. And we're going to lift into a little mini cobra and go all the way back to child. So press into the hands and inhale, lift the upper body up. As you exhale, draw in the belly and slowly move your hips all the way back to your heels. Knees together or wide. So in this position here, the back rounding, that is your primary curve. The first curve, the spine that we developed, rounding. The mid-back, thoracic spine. And then come to all fours. So, okay, I'm skipping some evolutionary things here. I know that before anyone corrects me. But it is only an hour and a half class. Hands underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers out wide. So we've developed our primary curve, the round arching of the back. We're the only species, though, to have two secondary curves. Your lumbar spine, your cervical spine, so your low back and your neck. So let's move through these. Cat pose. So press your hands down and inhale as you draw the chest forwards, tilting the pelvis. Inhaling that, extending. And then exhale, give a little drawing in of the belly as you round. Exhaling, tucking the pelvis under, head in between the arms. Inhaling, extending, chest moving forwards, pelvis tilting up. Exhale, drawing the belly in round. Inhaling, extending. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, extending. Exhaling, rounding. Inhale, come back to neutral spine, pausing there, exhale. So now we're going to do opposite arm and leg. We're not going to do it as tiger pose though, where we're drawing in towards the belly, curling into a small ball. We're just going to be lifting arm and leg, off the mat and then back down. Okay, so we're trying to limit some movement through the pelvis here. We're creating a bit more stability. So knees hip width apart, hands under shoulders. Breathe in. And as you exhale, start to lift the left leg and the right arm. You inhale as you bring them back down. And then we're going to take it to the other side. Exhale, right leg, left arm. Inhaling down. Exhaling, reach. Good, so some things to look out for here. Keep going. Is that I'd like the hand and the knee to come back down at the same time. So one is not coming down before the other, which I just did completely the opposite of myself. So just notice your habits. Yeah, do as you say, Vernette. And if you find that inhaling to lift and exhaling coming down works better for you, that you have more control with that, or it just feels more natural, that's okay. Whichever breath pattern works. Good. I find it really tough. I'm going to own up. I find it really tough to make sure that the knee and hand comes down at exactly the same time. Something always wants to cheat and come down before the other. This is a real good lesson on control and stability. Make sure that when you're lifting a leg that you're not opening the hip out to the side. Keep the hips squared to your mat, both hip bones facing your mat. And some find this easier than when we've done the tiger variation where we draw the knee in towards the nose, and some find this harder. I find it harder. Because no matter how much I'm trying, I always want to cheat a hand or knee down before the other hand or knee. So we're going to do it another 200 times at least, just so that I get it. How are you all doing? Let me have a little looky at you. Yeah. Not bad, no. Yeah, I'm seeing some hands down before knees, some knees down before hands. Great, I think that was about 200. That will do. You find child's pose. Good. Give me a thumbs up or down whether you was good with that or bad with that, or no, I'm not saying good or bad, but okay with it. Yeah, okay, handshake. Kind of neutral. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, of all the yoga crazy moves that I can do, and yet one that seemingly is so simple, my body just can't get it. Or my habits actually fight it. Great, come back to all fours. Take the knees a little wider, the hands a little wider, and we're going to take some twisting here. Actually, we haven't done it for a little while. Let's take the right leg out to the right side. Yeah, we haven't had that leg out there for a little while. Make sure the left hand's underneath the shoulder with this one. So sorry, I did take you out to the side a little bit. Bring it back in just a touch. Lift the right arm up, inhale. And then thread it through, reach to the left side. Exhale, twist and hover. Inhale, open up. And exhale, reaching through. Inhale, open up. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale, open up. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale, open up. Now we're going to improvise a little bit. As you exhale, reach somewhere else. Maybe in between the legs behind you. Inhaling up. Exhale somewhere else. So it might be back to reaching through to the left side. Inhale, open up. Exhale, maybe reaching for the foot. So keep exploring on your exhales different planes of movement. Maybe reaching forwards, twisting, reaching underneath, reaching to the foot. Good, so I also reached across underneath to my left foot just then. Reaching over to the right foot. So there's no right or wrong. Having a little yogic play. Because sometimes same movements over and over are not so good for the body. And we have lots of ranges of movement, motion, that we can explore. The next time that the arm is up, please pause there. We'll finish off where you're at. Yep, and when the arm is up, breathe in. Bring the hand down to the mat. Exhale. And then stay in the position that you're in. I'm just going to turn a little to the side so you can see this a bit better. I'm a bit limited on space of where my leg goes. Improvising. Breathe in. And as you exhale, start to take the bottom back a little bit. And the inhale, come forwards. And keep doing that little bit of a rocking back with the bottom towards that left foot. You probably won't need to move far for it to kind of like, oh, that's a stretch, maybe. And for others, you might be able to go quite far back. Again, just keep exploring where you feel something where it's a good sensation of stretch, where it's not moving back too far. It's kind of like, yeah, that's excruciating, it's too much. Just inhaling, coming a little forwards. Exhaling, moving back a little bit. Of course, it'll depend on how your knee is with that as well. And make that the last time that you're rocking back. And then we're going to come back to all fours. So bring the right knee in and give the hips a little bit of a circle. Do a little bit of a hula hoop movement. And then we're going to take that to the left side. So inhale, stretch the left leg out to the side. Exhaling there. And it also will depend on how much stretch you get to your inner thigh, depending on how far forward or back you have your left foot. So sometimes if the foot's more forwards, you'll get a different sensation to when the foot's a little further back. I get more inner thigh when the foot's further back, but each to their own. Find the sweet spot that's just right. Reach the left arm up, inhale. We're just going to do our regular twist to start off with. Exhale, reaching towards the right. Inhaling, opening up. And exhale, little drawing of the belly in when you're doing the twist. Inhaling, opening up. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale, open up. Exhale, reaching through. Now we're going to go on our little exploration. You inhale, open up, and as you exhale, reach somewhere else. Maybe back behind you, maybe towards that right foot. You inhale, open up, and then take it somewhere else. Exhale, maybe reaching to the left foot. I'm just guiding you. Find your own way of moving. There's no right or wrong, no extreme movements though. Just keep them nice, flowing, easy movements. Don't forget about reaching forwards as well as an option, straight out ahead towards me. You're always using that inhale to open up and the exhale to reach somewhere. Good, and as we're all doing different things, the next time that your arm is up in the air, please pause there. Yeah, inhale and bring the left hand back down. Exhale. So now again, keeping that left leg out to the side, we're going to explore that little forwards and back movement from the pelvis. So you breathe in, and as you exhale, start to move the bottom back a little bit. Inhaling forwards, and exhaling a little back. Be kind to the knee if this is not a happy knee place. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything. You're a grown adult after all. But just again, be kind to knees. Be kind to them and they'll be kind to you. Pad them up as you need to. Again, some will only be moving a very small amount. Be happy with that. Some with crazy long hamstrings will be taking the bottom all the way down towards the heel. Good, and the next time that you're forwards, pausing there. And then bring the left knee back in, so you're back to all fours. And then give the hips, again, that little bit of a circle around. And take child's pose. Knees together or apart, sit the bottom back. Either stretch your arms forwards or rest your head on your hands. Back to all fours. So we've been a quadruped now. We need to evolve to a biped, right? To standing. So our normal way of getting there would be through downward facing dog. You don't have to do downward facing dog though. Again, this will depend on your knees. If you're happy with down dog and you like it, please take that option. But just as a different variation, something else to get there, you could perhaps do it via a squat. Now, if a squat immediately goes, that's knees, can't do it, down dog would be your choice. Or from your all fours, you could tuck the toes, breathe in, and on your exhale, you take the bottom back towards the heels, walk your hands back as well, lift the knees up, so you're then in a squat. Yeah. Good, yeah, I know, it's not always knees, it can be ankles too, yeah. Good, if you feel all right in your squat, great, you could stay here a little bit longer. If it's kind of like, that's as much as my knees will do for today, then just come into your ragdoll forward bend from here. Or if the knees are being pretty happy today in your squat, could you take it into a little bit more of a balance? So I'm going to turn towards you, so we come into Goddess, where you take your fingers off. And maybe you have the hands to the outsides or the inside, sorry, of your knees. So, oh, I know, low belly, in and up. A little bit of a squeeze and lift. Again, this is only if this is knee friendly. If not, be in your ragdoll forward bend and we'll join you very soon there. I know this doesn't really go into evolution, but we're just doing a transition from quadruped to biped, okay? So if you're in Goddess, bring your fingertips back down, breathe in. And on your exhale, start to lift the bottom up. And then just move the feet so that they're hip width apart and dangle down over bent legs. Good, if dropping the head is not good, remember you can always keep your head a little bit lifted as long as you're not crunching on the back of the neck. For those that don't like letting the head dangle down. You could even rest your forearms onto your thighs if you needed to be a little bit higher rather than dangling. Isn't it nice to have a million options? Good, so start to work on alternating bending the knees here. So if your knees are very bent to start off with, just start on an exhale, exploring straightening into one leg a little bit. So for most, probably not getting it anywhere near very straight in a forward bend here with your fingertips down, but just alternating a little bit, straightening one leg slightly, then the other, rocking the pelvis from side to side. Good, and then from here, pause with that. Knees bent, bring the fingertips onto the shins and draw in from your belly and inhale as you lift halfway up to a flat back, so you're reaching out through the crown of the head and the tailbone. And then exhale as you fold in towards the legs. Can we make that movement as much of a wave-like action from the belly as we can? So fingertips to shins, draw in the belly and inhale round the spine, and then eventually lengthen out through the crown of the head and the tailbone. And exhale as you fold in towards the legs. Keep exploring with that. How much of a wave-like action through the spine can you do when you lift? Exhale, folding in. Because rather, we used to just kind of do this sort of inhaling up, lift, exhale, fold in. Inhaling up, lift, exhale, fold in. Can you make it start from your belly and end all the way crown of the head and tailbone? Again, if I'm speaking and it's like, yeah, she's asking me to do something and I have no idea what she's asking me to do, it's okay. You don't have to get everything that I come out with. I don't always get everything I come out with. Drawing in through the belly and then finding length at the very end. And do that just one more time. Exploring what kind of wave-like action through the body we can do. And exhale, relax. So we're going to come to stand and we're going to explore a roll up to do that. So keep your knees bent with this, keep your head low, let the head be the last thing to lift, and if rolling up that doesn't sound like a good idea, then you could use your hands on your legs to pad up the legs as you come up. So we've just got a bit more support with it. So keeping the knees bent, breathe in, and on your exhale, drawing through your core muscles, exhaling, rolling up. So think as though you're stacking your body. And only when your shoulders are above your hips, then you can lift the head and start to straighten the legs a little. Just be mindful of any lightheadedness. Hopefully coming up on a slow roll doesn't give you that, but I know we can all be prone to any kind of dizziness at strange times, so hopefully you're good. Draw the shoulders back and lift the chest a little bit. So we've got space across the front of the body. Knees a little soft. Take the arms wide and up. Inhale. Prayer pose at the heart. Exhale. Reach your arms forwards and up. Inhale. And as you exhale, take the arms wide, bend the knees, and kind of dive your way forwards towards the legs. Fingertips to shins, lift halfway to flat back from the belly. Inhale that wave-like action. And then exhale to fold in. And we're going to do our roll up again. Remember, you can pad your hands up the legs to come up if you want to. Breathe in. Engage your core muscles and exhale, drawing in the belly. You round up with bent legs. So trying to almost segment the spine as you come up. And then you inhale to lift the head at the end. Exhaling there. We're going to take that one more time. So draw your shoulders back, take the arms wide and up. Inhale. Prayer pose at the heart. Exhale. Reach your arms forwards and up. Inhale. Take the arms wide, bend the knees to come forwards. Exhale. Fingertips to shins, that wave-like action from the belly. Inhaling, wave to find length. Exhale, folding in. And then from here, we're going to do our roll up. So with or without hands on the legs, your choice. So knees bent, head low, breathe in. Draw in the belly as you exhale, rolling up. And then inhaling, lifting the head at the end. Exhaling. Okay, so let's do some sideways movement. So you could stay facing the direction you're in or turn towards me. We're going to do our swaying palm. So we know this movement, we know how it goes, we're just side bending. So taking the right arm out to the side and up, inhale. And side bending over, exhale. Lovely. coming up. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, over. Inhaling up. Exhale, over. Inhaling up. Exhale, over. Left arm lifts straight up. Inhale. Lower down. Exhale. Ease out your shoulders. Roll your shoulders back a few times. Roll them forwards a few times. And let's bring a stretch into the chest and the upper back and across to the sides of the shoulders as well. Not all in one go though, 3 different moves. So interlock the fingers in front, turn the hands inside out. I'm going to go to the side here just to turn. And then inhale as you lift your arms up to shoulder height and pause there, exhale. So we're going to try and create a lot of space around and in between these shoulder blades here. Breathe in. And as you exhale, start to press the hands forwards like you're pressing them against a wall, taking the head in between the arms and feel like you're stretching across your shoulder blades. If you start to feel this in the back, then you might be rounding the lower back a little bit too much. Try and really isolate that just to the upper back. Pressing the hands forwards, knees a little soft so you're not locking your knees back. And then inhale to lift the head. And exhale to lower the arms. Right, so that's the back of the body. Let's get the front of the body. Take the hands back behind you. Interlock the fingers. You could either keep the heels of the hands away from one another or press the heels of the hands together and really squeeze your shoulder blades together. If you've had any shoulder or elbow issues, keep your elbows a little bent rather than super straight. Knees unlocked. And inhale to lift the arms up. And pausing there, exhale. So this is where a yoga belt would come in handy, right? But today, I'm going to use just our arms with it, so you might not lift high. Don't worry about that. What we do when we try to get too high with it is we start to jut the chin forwards. So just be careful you're not doing that. Super high doesn't always equal better. Sometimes super high equals a little misalignment there. So just squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathe. That too. Good. Inhale. Lower the arms down. Exhale. Undo the fingers. Give the shoulders a little bit of movement. So let's stretch. Yes, exactly. We're going to be doing that movement. So now let's stretch the sides of the shoulders. So we're going to bring the right arm in front of the body, straight. Okay, so what we tend to do with that is we start to twist. So try to keep the hips forwards and just reach that right arm straight across in front of you. Shoulder down away from the ear. Then bring your left hand onto the right forearm and press it across. So think of like a latch on a gate. And I always keep hunching the right shoulder up, so keep it down. And maybe turn towards the right with the head and give you a bit more of a neck stretch. Long, steady breaths, knees soft. And then release. Give the shoulders a little shrug out so we're not carrying tension from one move to the next. Let's take that to the left. Bring the left arm in front of you. Be careful you're not turning the whole body in the pelvis. Hips facing front. Shoulder down away from ear. And then use your right hand, right forearm to press against the left forearm. Shoulders still down. That left arm reaching straight out to the side. Good, and I keep defaulting back to locking the knees, so just watch if you do that too, speaking to you through my body and my habits that even after 20 years yoga practice, I'll still default to the habits that my body wants to do that's not so good for me. And you'll all have something similar, I'm sure. Good, and then release. Ease out the shoulders. I'm going to do a little bit of balance here. So we're going to do an open gate position with the leg. So this starts towards, like if we're doing a big toe position, holding the toe and taking the leg out to the side. This is a krama, a level towards that. If you feel you can do that today, then great, go ahead with it. But we tend to do that position with a strap laying down, okay, where we're opening the leg out to the side. We've done that before. But we tend to let the leg kind of just drop and flop open. Whereas when we're doing it standing, we have to use the core a little bit more. So I'm going to give it a go with the knee bent. So first of all, check your foundations. Feet hip width apart, toes spread open. And just notice, where is the weight in your feet? Is it into the toes or is it way back into the heels? We think standing is easy, but we do it so bad sometimes. And then start to bring the weight into the left foot. Start to come onto the toes of the right. Now automatically with that we change kind of our center of gravity and we start to lean. So try not to lean, come back to the center. What helps with that is think of this left hip, left buttock, squeeze it in, draw it up. So we're not hanging in the pelvis. Squeeze in, squeeze up. Fix your gaze. And see if it's possible to inhale, lift the right knee up. And exhale, see if you can hold under the thigh. If you've got a strap nearby, you could thread it underneath the thigh, that'd be great. Or you could put it around your foot. Or you can hold around the front of the knee. Where is comfortable, where works. Yeah. Then is it possible to hold the right leg with just the right hand? So either under the thigh or over the knee, or holding your strap. If you've got that, bring your left hand onto your left hip. Still with a steady gaze. Breathing in. And as you exhale, slowly start to open the right knee out to the right side. Make sure you're still giving a bit of a squeeze to that left buttock. Yeah. Balancing and opening. Whoa. And if you're thinking, why did you compare this to the laying down version? When we do the laying down strap work, it's much easier. Well, usually because the pelvis starts to swing and help us out with it, rather than the core. If you feel it's possible to maybe extend that right leg out a little bit, you could try for that. Or it might be kind of like, no, I'm just having a good time trying to balance, thanks. Yeah, standing leg working hard. Yeah. And then inhale, go back to bending it, draw the knee forwards and bring the foot down. Exhale. Give the legs a little shake out, especially that standing leg. I know that starts to feel like that's on fire. Be happy with any variation of a balance that you did today. It's perfect for where you are today. So let it go. Feet hip width apart. Good, knees a little soft. Start to transfer the weight onto the right foot, those right toes spread. Come onto the toes of the left foot. Again, we start to kind of lean because it's just natural, normal. So check in, shoulders above hips, right buttock a little squeezed to, so we're not kind of just hanging in the pelvis. You're not just kind of standing there like that. Hug it in, lift it up. Maybe a little bit of the pelvic floor squeezing up. Eyes steady. Steady gaze. And then once you start to feel like you've got the balance, then you could inhale, start to lift the left leg up. It might take several goes of foot down, foot up. Again, it's all good. See if you can hold behind the thigh or around the knee. Or if you've got a strap, you could put the strap under the thigh or around the foot. Good. For some reason, I just let the right buttock go and therefore I felt wobbly. So keep just checking in with all of these things. I hope it's a help to you to know that I still have these habits in my body. That is a constant practice. Right? Wow. See, that's what happens if you let it go. So if you feel good where you are, then you could perhaps start to open that left knee a little out to the left side. So you're holding left thigh with left hand, bring the right hand onto the right hip. Again, doesn't matter if it doesn't open far. We're not looking for like this massive open position, because then we start to sort of back bend into it as well. Just wherever's possible. Yep, we come into it, we come out of it. Breathing, how is the breath? A little dance with it, it's all good. I do it too. I'm on a thick mat with a thick pile carpet, and my ankle is wobbling a good one, but that's part of it, these little stability muscles. Okay, if you feel like you're crying and dying a little inside, then you can come out of it. Or if you feel like, I just want to see if I could extend the leg a little, you could try for it, as long as you don't then start leaning over to the other side to compensate. Yay. And then bend the knee, bring the foot back down. Ooh, give the legs a shake out. I always find one side works way, way harder than the other. The policeman's move. Good, and then come back to the front of your mat. So let's do a little bit of devolving. You know, we've learnt to stand, we've come from quadruped to biped, we've learnt to stand, now let's take it all the way back down again. So draw your shoulders back, take the arms wide and up, inhale. Bend the knees, keep the knees bent as you come to your forward bend, exhaling down, because sometimes when doing a balance, the back gets a little grumpy, so keep the knees bent. And you may want to again sway a little from side to side, alternating bending the knees, shifting the hips from side to side. And then bring the hands down onto the mat and just do little steps back to downward facing dog. Or you can come straight to your knees and take child's pose if you prefer. But if you're in downward facing dog, then making use of that shape to get a big stretch through the back lines of the body. So back to the calves, the thighs, the buttocks, muscles along the spine. Long exhales. And then from here, come forwards into your plank, inhale, and come all the way down onto your belly, exhaling down, down, down. And wriggle back a little on your mat if you're a little far forwards. Bring your hands on top of one another, forehead on the hands, rock the pelvis from side to side. So we're back where we were. We're going to do little mini baby cobras here that just get a little bit more into the neck and the upper back. So we're going to bring the hands out to the side. Think of cactus shape with your arms. So if you was to look down from above on your body, your arms and your head are kind of forming a capital E shape. So forget about your regular cobra where your hands are by your chest. Think of your elbows out to the side in line with your shoulders. So if you're not quite sure, because I explained that pretty pants, I have to say. So you'd be making that shape with your body. So Steve, have a little looky at me just so I can see where you're at with your arms. Good, so you want, yeah, E-shape arms. So your elbows are down, yeah. And from here, give a little bit of action into the lower body. So a bit of a press to the pubic bone into the mat, a little bit of energy through the legs, not too much. And what you're going to do is you're going to inhale to lift the head and the chest a little. And then exhale as you come down. So small movements. I'm not even lifting my elbows off of the floor here. So I've got my forearms down, got that letter E, capital E shape with the upper body. And so with this, we're using less arm strength to lift us up. And we're using more back muscles to lift us up. Good. And the next time that you come down, turn your head towards the right, so you're on your left cheek. And all we're going to do when we lift up is we're going to slowly turn the head to then come down onto the other cheek. So you inhale as you come up, slowly turning the head. And then exhale as you lower back down. So you're now hopefully on the right cheek. The inhale, lifting, turning. Exhaling, lowering down. So keep going with that. Small movement, I know. It just gets into different places that we don't always work. Not everything in yoga has to be massive, great big movements. We often then miss some of the smaller muscles, the more subtle movements, postural muscles. Yeah, that's it. Just obviously be very careful as you're turning the head that you're not just kind of swinging it, swiping it. Very controlled, fluid movement. Yeah, nice. And you could stay with that. It's good in its own right. Or if you feel each time that you want to come a little higher, your hands stay where they are, but you're just lifting the elbows up a little bit more and the upper body up a little bit more each time, you could explore that. Still carefully turning the head and lowering down to each cheek each time. And this is so good if you're spending so much of your day in front of a computer hunched over it. Wherever you are within the movement, do it one more time. And then rest, bringing the hands on top of one another, forehead onto the hands, give the pelvis a gentle rock. And then bring the hands palms down by your chest for our regular cobra. And inhale to lift the upper body up and slowly move to child. Exhale, taking the bottom back to the heels. And then from here, come up and then come all the way down onto your back. So take your time in getting to that place. We're going to do happy baby poses and such like there. See you, Tasha. So coming back down. And once you're there, drawing the knees into the chest, hug them in. Rock a little from side to side. Stir the legs around if you wish. And before we go into frog pose or happy baby, let's get bridge in there so that we get an opening through the front of the body. So bring the feet down onto the mat. The feet are comfortably close towards the buttocks, so they don't have to be rammed in really close, but just a place where the knees feel neutral, comfortable. Arms down alongside the body, chin tucked a little bit. Breathe in. And as you exhale, do that pelvic tilt as though you're tilting the pubic bone towards your head, and then start to lift the buttocks up. Pressing down through the feet, the backs of the arms and the hands. And keeping the pelvis tucked slightly so you're thinking of the tailbone moving forwards and up, rather than letting the buttocks kind of hang out back there, right? Breathing in. And as you exhale, think of segmenting the spine, rolling the spine, vertebra by vertebra, coming down. You might need extra breaths in there, as you might feel doing it slow is good. Coming down slowly. And eventually, don't let me rush you if you're still rolling the spine, take your time, but eventually when the buttocks are down, draw the knees into the chest and open the knees out wide into frog pose. So we're back to where we started. Then your hands can hold the shins or the ankles. And you could be still here or you could rock. Or you could take it to happy baby pose, where you'd open the feet out wide to the side like an upside down squat shape, legs at a right angle. You might still be holding your shins, your ankles, or the pinky toe edges of the feet. Frog pose is good. Happy baby pose is good. It might be that you stay still and you breathe, or that maybe when you're exhaling, you give a little bit of a stretch out of the leg to the side and then back in on the inhale. Again, that's just options. Just things to think about, to try out, to see if they feel good. If they don't, we don't do them. And then closing the knees back up. Bring the feet down onto the mats. Come into constructive rest pose where you open the feet out maybe as wide as your mat. Slightly turn the toes in a little bit, pigeon toe the feet. And let the knees drop in towards one another. And maybe resting your hands onto the belly, or maybe having your arms a little away from the body, palms turned up. And here may be where you stay. Or you could slide one foot out to one corner of the mat, slide the other foot out to the other corner of the mat. And having the legs out long in Shavasana. If that doesn't feel good with the legs out long, you felt better with the legs bent in constructive rest, go back to that place. And closing the eyes. And we're just back to the breath. Feeling the movement of the breath in the body. Feeling as though the whole body, the skin, is breathing. Just like that cell at the start. As though you could take air in through your skin and let it back out. Notice how the air feels on your skin. How the ground beneath you feels on your skin. How your clothes feel on your skin. How your breath feels. How you feel right now. I'm going to leave you relaxing until the chimes. Of course, if you need to leave before them, I fully understand that. And if you want to stay longer past those chimes, you absolutely can do that too. Keeping the eyes closed, take a long, slow, deep breath in. And let it go. And if you want to stay still for a bit longer, then just stay where you are. Or if you feel you need to start moving again, wiggle your toes, your fingers, your ankles, and your wrists. And if you want to have a big stretch, have a big stretch. And if you want to just roll onto your side, you can, or if you need to draw the knees into the chest, if you really like that little back massage movement, then your choice. And eventually rolling over onto your side and coming up into sitting. Good. Taking the arms wide and up, inhale. Bring the palms together above your head, and as you exhale, bring the hands to prayer pose at the heart. Bowing the head towards the fingertips, acknowledging all that we should be grateful for. And I thank you as always for choosing to do your practice with me. Namaste. Thank you.